Square Enix recently revealed that SaGa Emerald Beyond is the latest entry in the SaGa franchise, one of those IPs that has been around for roughly 20 or so years throughout plenty of different releases and different platforms throughout the years. And now we have direct confirmation that this latest release will be appearing on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, the PC, and iOS and Android devices, so it will be readily available to anyone who wants to get their hands on it in next year 2024. Today I wanted to go over about 10 brand new features that are being revealed regarding not just the introduction of the game as to what it is that you should be expecting story wise, but also characters, combat, and a whole heck of a lot of new connections that they are doing specifically with this game, tied specifically to prior releases in this specific franchise. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below to the Gematsu article, which links back to the original page in Japanese. They did a pretty good job translating a lot of this, so I certainly want to give them some credit for their work. They talk about this being the latest standalone entry in the SaGa franchise. SaGa Emerald Beyond brings together the very best elements of the beloved series to offer each player their own unique gameplay experience. Makes use of glimmers and combos in battle, meet a diverse cast of races including monsters, mechs, and vampires, and experience your very own story created through your choices and your very own actions. At the same time, they also did drop a bunch of brand new gameplay, so not only are you going to be seeing that overlaid here in this video, but of course the original reveal trailer as well that we got to see in the Nintendo Direct. They mentioned that you're going to be traveling through 17 unique worlds from the junction, either led by hand or destiny, or by a path forged together by your very own choices. Discover the complexity between different cultures and landscapes, ranging from developmental forests to skyscrapers and green luscious habitats covered in plant life, to a world governed by 5 witches or ruled by vampires, just to name a few of the rather distinct settings. So this game is going to take players into a bunch of different scenarios that you may not have necessarily seen before in the SaGa franchise. There's 6 leading characters altogether. They're all from a diverse background with vastly different goals, set on a journey of 5 unique story arcs. They venture from a myriad of worlds from a very own personal reasons. One, a human on a mission to protect the barrier defending his city. Another one is a witch trying to regain her lost magic while maintaining the disguise as a schoolgirl. Yet another is a vampire lord out to regain his crown and reclaim the throne as the rightful king of the world. Even selecting the same protagonist for a second or third or fourth playthrough will lead to a completely new set of events and stories. Completely new path will essentially open up as you're playing the game. So the more connections you have with other characters, you might end up getting different endings and of course different playthrough sequences that you didn't necessarily see before. But this shouldn't come to too much of a surprise for any one of the SaGa franchise veterans. If you have played any of the SaGa franchise games already, you know that's what this kind of franchise sticks upon. The second you focus on one specific character and you finish their story, you're going to notice that things change drastically gameplay wise and story wise from other characters. They mentioned that SaGa Emerald Beyond has the greatest number of branching paths of any game in the SaGa series, and certainly that's a bold statement to make, especially for, again, veteran fans of the franchise. The story branches abundantly depending on your choices and actions. Every time you visit a world, the story will evolve, allowing the protagonist and the players alike to discover new possibilities. As the story unfolds in this way, it becomes a tale all of your own, not only affecting the path that you walk, but also the multiple potential endings that await for each one of the characters. Not only that, SaGa Emerald Beyond further refines highly strategic time battles with the SaGa franchise that have been long renowned for, with new series maintains such as the skills to spontaneously acquire new abilities through Glimmer system, tactically apply or ally in a placement known as different formations, and unite attacks that enable individual skills to connect together from devastating chain attacks. It offers the best iteration of the SaGa turn-based combat to date. The new combat systems add more drama to even ever before, allowing you to support your party members, interrupt enemy attacks, and use united attacks by strategically manipulating the order of any one of the actions. The characters that join you, the weapons that you wield, your party formations, and your battle tactics, everything is entirely up to you. So basically, they are not only saying, yes, of course, you have full control of how the story narrates itself as you make your decisions, but also combat is going to be more forced upon you to decide how it is that you want to interact with enemies. Now, one of the interesting things that they talk about here is the Emerald Waves. This is what kind of ties together every single one of the characters. They ask the question, what lies at the end of the Emerald Waves? Do Emerald Waves present potential paths, or are they showing an unavoidable fate and thus begin the sagas of our new protagonist? Heaven, hell, and even the celestial realm, the underworld, and even fairylands, people have always sensed the existence of other worlds, given many names. Yet these worlds never have separated. They are all connected. They are part of an infinite whole. Many worlds are unaware of this truth. Rather, people believe in apparently self-evident truth rather than the world is all as one. Heat lists of people thought of that matter, and then connected worlds continue to influence one another in a forever flux. And now the stage is set for a new chance to arrive at the shores of these connected worlds through the Emerald Waves. This is pretty much the overarching connection that they have with the game, as there are 17 worlds connected to place known beyond. They are known as the Beyond. Guided by Emerald Waves, the protagonists of this game pass through the Beyond before journeying to a plethora of different worlds, each with their own history and cultures. Which doors connect to each one of the worlds is only for you to find out as you make your own choices. What will you do as you gain access to one of these worlds? Of course, that's all dependent upon what it is that you choose to do. So one of the biggest overarching ideas here is that there are all these 17 worlds that you can explore. The game is not going to tell you, it's not a singular path. You can choose whichever ones you want to have access to, based not only on which protagonist you decided to start the game with, but also the choices you decided to make. The 6 protagonists in 5 groups follow the emerald color waves in a light that travels the 17 worlds connected to the Beyond. The worlds that they visit, they will also find themselves potentially presented with multiple choices and different destinies. Sometimes the Emerald Waves will lead to several possible fates, but these choices may not necessarily lead in the same direction as you expect. Sometimes the waves will show the character a red light, informing them of danger. As the player, you are free to avoid or intentionally face the dangerous consequences. So one of the things you're going to notice here, and this is kind of like shown all over the gameplay, there's these rays of light kind of sticking away from the character, and based on the decisions that you make, the places that you decide to visit, those colors will become more magnified. That means a different fate is going to be potentially available to you. SaGa Emerald Beyond presents an element of the SaGa series where players have become known and loved, and narrative change depending upon the actions and choices. Furthermore, as you visit different worlds, the worlds themselves will change. Different narratives, different developments that will be waiting for you in the same world, and if you visit in another different playthrough, regardless of whichever protagonist you choose, different things could potentially happen. The story of SaGa Emerald Beyond constantly changes and delivers new experiences with the most narrative changes in the franchise's history. And one of those things you're going to notice is that you pick your character and you you basically pick one and you're dropped in instantly. You start making choices, you start playing the game. There's no limitation to any of that. It doesn't necessarily mention that this is probably something that they're going to reveal at a later date. If you can actually pause and maybe like start another character story if you want at the same time, or you're just, once you make your decision, you're locked into that one character. They don't necessarily mention that as of right now. Of course, we do know that there's 6 different protagonists, but they're in 5 separate groups. Tsunadori Mito is the one character with the sword and a gun, kind of like double wielding kind of a situation. You have Amiya Elsing. This would be the witch in training, which they showcase. You have Cygnus. This is the Dark King, the vampire that's being awakened. You You have Diva number 5. This is the songstress mech who had lost her singing voice due to some unforeseen circumstances. And lastly, you have Bonnie Blair and Formita Franklin, 2 new recruits from the police force investigating an assassination attempt. So, of course, unique characters in their very own way, all telling their very own arcs. I'm going to try to do a follow-up video when I talk about combat and some of the changes that you should be expecting to see in this brand new SaGa Emerald Beyond release, which of course set to drop on PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, PC, and mobile devices in 2024. If you're brand new to my channel though, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.